Jason's in the corner. Oh, God.
Hey, that's a great story. Great opening line. Great
I don't know
opening
how
line.
much of that came through.
I don't either, but just be prepared, guys, for season 4 because Jason will be in the corner. Hello and welcome back to the European Championship edition of the Red, the White, and the Blues podcast. I'm Daniel. He is Jason, and we are celebrating all things Chelsea Football Club this year, especially now the fact that we are the first European treble winners, Jason. We now have every European trophy that there is.
I mean, can't touch us. I've been singing Champions of Europe since we won. So we know London is blue. I don't give a shit if Tottenham finally won a trophy in 17 years. We know where it's at. We know how to get it done in the second half, but we still know how to get it done.
That's correct. Yeah, we don't know what the first half of football is. It's shit. We know that much. But the second half, damn it, we will be good in the second half, and we will be great even in the second half.
The second half is ours, man. Always.
Or we could just say is whenever Jason starts watching a match is when we get good. Because now that is the second match in a row where you've missed you didn't miss the last match, but it was a couple matches ago. You missed like the first half and you started watching the second half and we completely turned it around. And then it happened again today. Didn't watch the first half, and then you're like, I'm going to get to watch the second half. And I was like, I'm so glad you're here because we're actually going to start playing good. And then we did.
I came in around the 30th minute, and we did not look good at all. We looked pretty bad, and Real Betis was up for it. But hey man, for all that we talked about, the depth of our bench, how we were worried about that going to Champions League, for Conference League, it worked out. We had exactly what we needed. Maresca gave his pep time or halftime pep talk. Where he did not give them biscuits and he did not give them beer. He withheld the Gatorade. He said, "You get nothing unless you go out there and you score 4 goals." And that's exactly what they did. Palmer took that to heart. Palmer loves his Gatorade.
Yeah,
so he got upset and he went out there and he started making it happen.
I love the thought of Maresca like holding things from our nutrition and hydration from our players is what drove them. To clearly Nico got hurt, so maybe he didn't have any of that Gatorade, the electrolytes at halftime.
Only champions get juice and biscuits at halftime. Only champions.
We're champions now, so I guess during the Champions League, halftime they'll get juice boxes and some cookies. So
I hope they got all the juice and cookies that they want.
Yeah.
They deserve it for a myriad of things. I can't believe in the last couple days things have turned out the way they turned out. We talked about this on the live stream, or I guess the last pod actually. So many podcasts happening at the end here that like this was not a guarantee. No matter what anybody says, I'm getting so sick of the commentators because Maresca told everybody to F off.
He did.
And he said F off, but the commentators were like, well, Maresca had something to say for the critics, but we're not going to repeat it here. And I'm like, you're not repeating anything.
Yeah.
They all think that they're so funny saying that anyway.
Some of the worst commentating I've ever heard in my life too.
Worst commentating during the game. Paramount's guys hate each other. I don't know what they were doing. They were all upset at each other like the whole time. I don't know, man.
Dude,
it's crazy. Like it was not great coverage of this.
No. Well, they certainly, I guess, their C squad because next year we'll get to listen to Henri and
Michael Richards.
Michael Richards, yuck it up on the Champions League.
Oh my God!
I can't wait for that.
I don't think I'm ready for that either.
I'm not.
I want the Europa League people. I don't know who they are.
I don't know who they are,
but I'd rather have them at this point than anyone else.
Seriously. But yeah, I mean, it really was again a tale of two halves. Like we were shit in the first half, and then I mean, like, let's be realistic here. It was mainly Goose time. It was mainly Goose time shit in the first half. I mean, that's what it was. I text you whenever they release a lineup and said, "Oh, I like this lineup." Well, except for Gusto. He goes out and shits. Like, but that's the thing is, like, it's the whole round peg in a square hole scenario. Gusto's just not an inverted fullback. And I texted you during the match, the only reason I can think that Maresca did not invert Cucurella is because Anthony was on that side. That's the only explanation I can give for why Maresca, even when Reese came in, Reese still inverted. And
he also wanted the goals to be spread around. He couldn't let Cucurella have all the glory. He's trying to keep up team morale. Like, so that's probably another reason. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because I mean, I thought about it like when it was like Reese hadn't been on very long, maybe like, it was like 5 to 10 minutes, second half, and he put a beautiful cross into the box, and there was just like nobody there to get on the end of it. And I'm like, well, if Cucurella would have been inverting, that he would have been there and scored with his head. But whatever.
You got to keep up. You got to keep up the morale.
Yeah, gotta spread the wealth around, Maresca.
Maresca's just sprinkling it around. He's withholding the Gatorade, but he's sprinkling the goal wealth.
I mean, Nico even inadvertently scored this match. I'm not convinced that he meant to do any of that. It was more just Palmer just aimed for Nico to then ricochet it off him into the goal. That's my thinking about it.
Yeah, Daniel did text me that Palmer just used Nico to score the goal.
Yeah. It should have been a Palmer goal, is what it should have been.
Yeah. It didn't look like Nico wanted anything to do with that ball, and it just happened to come off of his shoulder.
Yeah. Like, he tried to head it very awkwardly and just missed. Yeah. And then it hit his stomach, chest, shoulder, something, and went in the goal.
Yeah. Palmer, I agree with you. He totally sandblotted that.
Yeah.
He knew Nico would be right where he needed to place the ball for the things to happen. So I know this isn't baseball, but Palmer loves the sandlot as much as his Gatorade.
Oh man. Yeah, he was he had he is the reason the match turned around the second half. Palmer sort of just said, F all you guys, I'm taking over, and I'm just going to put the ball in the box, and if y'all don't score, I'm probably going to leave Chelsea. Not really. That's just making that up, guys. Don't take that and that. But he literally
have the Gatorade thing into the ground. But he's giving his halftime talk. He's like, I'm out of here. You guys don't shut up.
Yeah, I want my blue Gatorade after the match.
What don't they have like an ice? Is it blue ice or something? I can't remember.
They do. Yeah, they have like a blue ice.
That's his flavor of choice.
I don't know Gatorade flavors. I just know colors. It's like you have red. I guess red is fruit punch. I know like the originals.
Oh like God,
red, lemon lime, orange. Like those are the originals. Then they got all these like purple, pink, all whatever. Sorry. Back on track.
Frost blue. That's Palmer.
Okay, Frost blue. But he really did turn the match around for us. The cross into Enzo for his header was just put on a dime. Like you couldn't have put a better cross into the box
than
that. It was beautiful. I'm honestly shocked.
His little move to get away, like he's like facing away from goal, rolls the ball backward, and then spins to get around. Even the guy couldn't keep holding on to him. Yeah.
He made that defender look stupid, and I think the announcers were saying
should have fouled him. He should have brought him down. Actually,
but I think as he was doing that, it was like the announcer was like, "Oh, this guy used to be a defender for Southampton," and then Palmer went right around and said, "Yep, I understand why he doesn't play for Southampton anymore now." But,
exactly.
And then I don't remember who scored the third goal. I don't remember who scored. I know who scored the fourth one.
Colwell, right?
Oh no, Sancho. Oh,
Oh, you're right.
Sancho scored the third one because I just thought he was shooting the ball randomly, and it was just somehow went in the goal. And I'm like, okay, well, there's 3. And then Caicedo scored the 4th. So
crazy.
Hey, the ending to this season has gone just as well as it could go, minus the Newcastle loss. But other than the Newcastle loss, this end of the season has ended perfectly for Chelsea. We take all the momentum we have going to the Club World Cup. We have won all the European trophies. We're going back to the Champions League next year. The player morale seems to be high. I'm still not sold on Maresca tactically. I think the first half showed the fact that he keeps trying to force Gusto to play that inverted fullback role. I think shows, he has some things to work on, but that he is capable of adjusting, just not until halftime for some reason. He's not capable of adjusting on the fly, unless you consider switching your wingers at the 40-minute mark in the first half, adjusting on the fly when he flipped Neto and Madueke. So. I don't know.
I mean, to Maresca's credit, he did bring James on halftime. And then, in the 60th minute, he made a double change where he brought on Colwill and Sancho. So, I mean, I think the subs were great today.
They were good subs.
I thought that Maresca is showing versus, in our mid-season stretch, where we did really horrible this past season. That he is willing and able to adapt to the game in ways that are opponents centric, I guess, is probably the best way to do it. Because I wouldn't say he's always been the most adaptive coach. And so maybe in the same way we saw some players grow this season, we've seen Maresca grow. Although we could talk about this in our wrap up. Or into the season wrap up if we want. And I guess we still, I don't know if we've decided to do that before or after the Club World Cup, but I do think that there are a lot of question marks, but there's a lot of positivity around the club still. And it is nice to finally go into, in this newest era that we are in, the summer with, like you said, all the momentum coming in to not only the Club World Cup, but transfer market. I was just looking it up because I heard somebody say this. FIFA has allocated $1 billion of prize money to the Club World Cup. The winner potentially earns like 120 something million pounds or dollars or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's USD. So $125 million.
Yeah, I think at minimum it's like 50 or 60 million. I think is what we're supposed to be getting. Like the minimum, and like that was. And again, this just goes to show people's stupidity. That was their like, oh, well, we have the Club World Cup this summer, and that'll cover our front of the jersey sponsor. And I'm like, you buffoons. Like, but it could be doubled if we actually had a front of the shirt sponsor. Like,
these are the same people that are like, but we're gonna win, so we don't need the front of the shirt sponsor.
Right. Yeah.
Any excuse that they can make for the administration of this club at the moment.
God. It's just annoying. Just like, look, I don't agree with 90% of probably what Blue Coat's done with this club, but I can give them credit when they do something good, just like other people should be able to criticize them when they do something stupid, like not having a front of the shirt sponsor for 3/4 of the season. That is dumb business. Like, it's okay.
It is incredible. I mean, granted, we should be winning this competition in the way that we won it, or by the amount of goals. Maybe we definitely needed a better first half performance. I mean, Real Betis was definitely the better team in the first half.
Yeah,
but we can't sit here and pretend that any of this wasn't a gamble. And I think 100%. That is where some of the trepidation and some of the criticism comes in, is the way the club has done business. And it trickles down into micro levels of the manager's decisions and the players' decisions on the pitch, right? Although I'm going to blame sporting directors than Maresca. Right?
Yes.
But like, so I think we have our order correct in how we're going to blame stuff. But like, we can't pretend that any of this was like the plan or the project, even if people are going to come out now and be like, see, they knew what they were doing. No, you're never going to convince me that they knew that they were doing. This has been a huge gamble.
Yeah.
And I am glad that we came out of silverware, because I don't think, spoiler alert, that anything is guaranteed next season.
No.
So depending on what happens in the transfer window, depending on how I feel on the day about how I think this club can perform consistently over the course of a season, because we just watched them not do it. Like, depending on how much of a factor their experience in not doing this plays in the next season, which is a big factor.
Yeah.
Like we cannot pretend that any of this was on purpose. And I think that is the thing that has like been the most frustrating and the most annoying. Whereas you watch a team like Liverpool, and dare I say, I'm going to say this, Arsenal, who have tried to build things up in a way that would allow for longer-term success. Whereas all of our decisions, and I am including Arsenal in that to a degree, even though they haven't had long-term success right now. But like, we're watching guys like go, oh, okay, well, if we buy them young, then and they come good, then we can flip them. And in terms like pure profit are not coming out of clubs that are building for long-term success, or we're not having to sell our assets back to us. If we are going for long-term success, we needed, I dare say, I don't know what these conversations, I'm so glad we don't have to have the conversations of us not getting Champions League.
Yeah.
Because then it does become a conversation of, well, where's the money going to come from? And granted, I'm so sick of money conversations, but it does come down to, if we had to have those conversations, what does PSR look like next season without Champions League football? And we are then using the Club World Cup to make up for lost revenue of a front of the shirt sponsor. So this takes a lot of the money conversation out of it, which I think is really important on a club level to take a lot of pressure off in general. That means we can start making some footballing decisions, because they are no longer, they're 3 years removed from dropping £1 billion on players that are completely unproven or sterling. Right. So like, I think the conversation around this club have completely changed in the last 3 days. And it could have just as easily, as much as people want to pretend that it didn't, it could have just as easily gone the other way.
It could have.
So this, it's nice to celebrate a win. It's nice to go into this and watch Chelsea play like shit for 45 minutes and not really feel any pressure for that because of what we did on Sunday.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if we had not done what we've done on Sunday, this would be a way different game, and this would be a way different conversation. So I'm happy where we've ended up with in this season. I think it's been a huge gamble, but the reward is pretty great right now. And we're going into a summer of like a lot of momentum and anticipation and joyfulness. So I'm happy we got to where we were.
Let's just throw it back to the 60s, man. Let's just have a summer of love. Let's just, we're going to have us a summer of love. We're going to be positive vibes only.
Daniel and I are about to podcast naked. Yep. It's about to be awesome.
I'm going to paint flowers over my nipples. Oh,
we're going to have our own Woodstock.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, Daniel, I'm going to design us a poster that is going to be hippie inspired.
I like this.
2025 Summer of Chelsea Love.
I love this. Love this idea. That is brilliant. I love it. No, but I think your point, you said something earlier about how like they lucked into this. Or not lucked into it, but this was never the plan or the project. And I think the biggest tell to that, just to add on to your point, is the fact whenever we were doing really good at the beginning of the season, it was, hey, Maresco, are y'all going to finish top 4? Oh, it's not a goal of the club to finish top 4. That's not what I was told to do by the owners. And then somehow it changed. And then it changed to we're trying to finish top 4 because we're Chelsea. And then we started sucking again. And it was, oh no, we're having a really good season because our XG is so good. We don't really, top 4 really isn't in question. So I think that just proves your point that the narrative changed 3 different times in the season about what they wanted us to finish. They didn't know what they were doing. I think that honestly, they told Maresca, you don't have to finish top 4 this year. I don't think that ever was a goal. It was, I think winning the Conference League was a goal because it's just a competition we should have walked, like regardless. Like that should have been a goal. But I don't think finishing top 4 or 5 was ever a goal for this club. And
3 months ago, Maresca, I didn't say our target was top 4. The club never told me the target was top 4. When I signed here, the target was in 2 years playing in the Champions League, not in 1 year.
Yep. There you go. And I mean, and now they'll spin it as a positive, but this, like you said, this was never part of the project. You look at it, you can look at it 2 ways. Because if you look at sustainably building a football club, which I don't think we're doing, and you want to be sustainable, if you go to your Europa next year and you keep bringing along those young players and you're playing in a step up in a European competition, you don't really buy too many new players, and you just continually feed in these younger players, and then you want to take the step from Europa to Champions League. Yes, that makes sense. But that's not who we are. That's not what we should be shooting for. And so now do they continue? And it came out 2 days ago, I think, whenever they were talking about the transfer season, that they're still looking to buy young players. Nothing is really changing in their strategy, even though we're in Champions League and have 2 people, 3 people that have played Champions League football on our roster now. So it's
well, if anything, I would imagine this emboldens them to continue the same strategy, which is what the point that you're making, right?
Yeah.
Why would they not be even more doubled down on, oh, see, it worked.
We were right.
Yeah, exactly. And so, they're going to take their victory laps. And I hope that we can look back on this and go, oh man, all those criticisms were for naught. But at the same time, we cannot pretend this was not a huge, huge gamble. And I'm so glad that it's paid off. I don't know. Will we look back on this qualifying for Champions League and people are giving us shit for celebrating it, right? Because we've given Arsenal shit in the past for celebrating. We talked about that on our last podcast, but we might look back on this and go, oh, this is the point where the club actually got saved because we were all wondering where the money was going to come from PSR wise. Based on the position the club has put themselves in.
Yeah.
So Champions League and the amount that it pays now to be in the Champions League has saved our club because, yes, big club spend big money. That's literally what they've gone after, and they've put us in a hole. And so this is going to allow us to dig out, and the hole's not as big as people like to think it is because of the net spend, but it's still a pretty sizable hole.
It's still a big hole.
Yeah. That everybody was still worried about. So this has been the payoff. The reward is great, and I'm excited to enjoy the reward. But it's been a wild ride, and I would not wish this on anyone.
I think the problem is that it's the way the asset stripping. I mean, asset adjusting and selling assets to ourselves. And the way it's been done is the issue in all of this, because I mean, the only thing they have left to sell is Cabo. And it's been done before where clubs sell their freaking training grounds to somebody. Guarantee you the next time we're in PSR trouble, they will be selling Cobham for like $1 billion to themselves.
Yeah.
It's just what's going to happen. But hey, it's the summer of love. Let's have a positive summer. Our savior will be here soon, Esteval. We have a tournament to look forward to.
So much to look forward to. Off the back of historic women's season.
Yep. Men getting back to normal. Getting back to normal.
Hey, we got all the European trophies. Nobody else has that.
That is true. And we still now have 4 more major European trophies than Arsenal does.
Yes. All those other teams can enjoy dipping down into the Conference League to try to chase this.
Yeah.
History, this will last a while, baby.
Yes,
this history is going to be history for a while.
Yeah. I mean, like, we're here, like, we've done it, like, that. Like, this competition, like I said, the only reason I ever wanted to win this competition, so I can say that we're the first ever, and probably will be, like, the only European treble winners for a very long time, because there's not very many clubs that are in line to do what we did. Maybe I guess if United can sneak into the Conference League next year, that they then could accomplish it. But
that's true. Actually, this might not last as long as I think.
It might not, but who knows?
Hey, I got more thoughts on this, but I'll save them for the wrap up. I think for now we just enjoy it. It looked like all the guys really enjoyed it. I got some feels watching Reese lift the trophy at the end.
Yes,
I watched the whole thing, and it's good to see this group of guys, this group of how young they are. They scored the most goals in this competition. They've been the most successful team in this competition. We only lost 1 game in this competition. Like they've earned it. And I was happy to see them enjoy it. So, but I have some more thoughts on it that I'll say for the year-end wrap-up.
Yeah, I'll say I think my big takeaway from this game is that I have 2 major takeaways. One, I need more of Enzo slapping Reese in the face and them headbutting each other. I need more of that in my life because that was the single greatest moment in this match.
Such machismo happening in that moment.
I know. Yeah. I know. And then number 2, and this is a serious one, I think we saw the emergence of Reece James as finally being the leader on this pitch and on this team that we can actually count on. I think it had sort of been lacking from him, and I blame more his injury on that because he wasn't there. And when you're not there with for lack of a better word, the boys every day, like you don't have as much influence on them. Yeah. But he's played 18, 19 matches in a row without getting hurt now. Knock on wood. But now that he is in that starting lineup and he's been the captain, I think you're starting to see what he can bring more to the table, like what we always thought he could do as a leader on the team. Now that he's actually involved more and is actually staying healthy, which I think today was the emergence of Reece James, the Chelsea captain, more so than anything else. That might be my biggest takeaway from this match and the biggest thing that happened, because that I think will have a lot more lasting impact than a Conference League trophy. Even though we're the European treble winners, I will, if Reece stays doing what he's doing, I'm here for it. And I just need him to stay healthy. That's it.
Yeah,
I just need him to stay healthy.
He's still probably one of my favorite players ever.
Yes,
so I need him to stay healthy. Just personally. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. But we'll be back Monday for we'll do it in the season roundup on Monday. We'll announce the winner of the prediction contest, everything like that. We'll go through all of that, go through our terrible predictions that we made at the beginning of the season.
Dude, I think everybody did. Everybody did.
They're terrible. We'll do that, and then we will talk about the club and the Summer of Love some more.
Summer of Love, baby.
Tell people where they can find us, Jason.
Yeah, we're on X, we're on Instagram, we're on Substack. Daniel writes amazing things, but Summer of Love is changing all this, baby. Season 4. I helped Daniel.
Season 4. That's right.
Thank him for the podcast that we have now. But you can go check us out on all the things at Red White Blues FC.
Yep, that's right. We're also on Spotify and Apple and wherever you listen to your podcasts at these days. So check us out there. Also on YouTube, like, subscribe, follow, whatever you're supposed to do, bell, whatever you're supposed to do there. And until the end of the season wrap up, we'll catch you guys and gals on the flip side.
Club World Cup number 2 coming in the summer of love. Flippity floppity.